You've tuned into The Mountain Gardener with your host, Ken Lane. Gardening, it can be challenging, but with these simple insider tips, you'll reap huge rewards. Now, let's tune into today's Mountain Gardener with Ken and Lisa. And we are back with Lisa Watters-Lain in the studio. She comes each week with your gardening questions. Just what are neighbors talking about? And I think we can learn some things just by hearing what other gardeners are seeing. I don't know if you saw that, Lisa.
What?
The customer shot me a huge photo, like close up. He must have a brand new cell phone with photo, whatever, enhanced tomato worm, which on the screen is as big as my monitor. Like it's 20 inches tall. It's like huge, eating his tomatoes. I went, ooh, okay. There, that was in Chino Valley. I went, they're out. So here we go. That's the benefit of gardeners sharing with each other. And that's the goal of this segment.
Yes.
Welcome.
Thank you. Good to be back.
It is good to be back.
Sure.
So what kind of question you got, or what are you thinking about this week?
Well, I forgot to bring my glasses, so
Here,
I'm gonna have to hold.
Here, I got an extra set of cheaters for you. Sorry about that. You folks on the podcast, the video piece, Amazon or no, who does video? Spotify and Apple does the video piece. Everyone else just does audio.
Yes.
You get to see my beautiful gal and her. Now that's what is that? Diamond studded cheaters.
I was like, you had these?
How
did you have diamond studded
I needed
cheaters?
something to read. I needed some help, and they were sitting. A customer left them behind. I went, I could use those real quick. No one's watching. I'm here for you. My name's Ken.
Yes.
Hi, how you doing?
Well, these are pretty fancy diamond studded cheaters I'm reading through. Okay. First question is from Marcy out in Chino. She wants to know what causes the cracking on the top of her tomatoes, and to know, is there any way to prevent that or help that?
So where's she at, or what's
Chino? Marcy. So
that is caused. So when tomatoes crack, or if they get real thick, kind of tough skin, they're all related. That's a difference between daytime temperatures and morning. So in the morning, they're nice and plump. They fill up. During the heat of the day, they kind of shrink and they shrivel. And that fluctuation in the actual fruit size, no, you don't see it changing, but you can see the cracks in it. So you know that this ebb and flow, this plumpiness and then dryness. And so more consistency in the watering is the key. So for me, so if you were tuned in back in April when we were putting our tomatoes in, I said use Aqua Boost crystals. And the reason I did that was so you don't get cracking. So because I just knew it was coming. So these are crystals you pour down at the root level and they swell up, hold up the moisture. And then as the plant needs more moisture, it'll take it from the crystals, the Aqua Boost crystals, instead of from the fruit. So you're evening out that water or irrigation pattern. So what you might want to do is come in and get a bottle of that. Just poke a hole down where the roots are, pour it in there. Just do that 3 or 4 times around as best you can. Ideally, if you can put it right underneath the roots where the roots grow through it, that's perfect. But you know what? Life isn't perfect. And you sometimes just taking a big old screwdriver, poking a hole, sprinkling some in there, that's good enough. A teaspoon over here, a few teaspoons, all of a sudden you got this thing going. And the new fruits won't crack at that point. So that's probably the easiest solution. The other one I did see just on tomatoes, I had a customer at the last week's class. They brought a picture of their tomato. It was a small, maybe a golf ball sized tomato, and had classic blossom end rot. So the half of the fruit was blackened. The other half was nice. And she goes, what's going on, Ken? I need help me. And I went, well, that's classic blossom end rot. You need some yield booster. I gave her this bottle of liquid calcium, and it had a picture of that same exact picture she had on her fruit. It's right on the front of the label. So just spray this once a week. All the new fruit will come out clean. So as you see things happening, talk to us, bring a picture. As we deal with this all day long. And so, and we can usually pick it up and we just know, like, we've seen it so many times. We just know, like in our sleep, we dream about this stuff, literally. Rotting fruit. It's not good. You can solve this. And it's usually a mineral deficiency or something going on.
Okay.
So hopefully that helps her.
Right. So the next question is from Janet. She's in Prescott. She said her roses don't seem to be putting on any new buds. She wants to know help get buds going on there. Also, she's fighting aphids.
Yeah.
Like everybody else.
This is
And,
super easy.
Yeah. So just
Yeah.
need some help.
Yeah, Janet, super easy. So you need to come in. This is why they make rose food with systemic.
That's
The
true.
entire reason they have this one food for roses, because it solves all your problems. So what you're having is you don't have enough food, or specifically not calcium, phosphorus. So nitrogen, phosphorus, potash. That middle number causes fruits and flowers, especially on roses. So give it some rose food has that juiced up, designed specifically for roses. So give it some rose food, but for you, because you've got aphids, rose food with the bug additive in there. The plant will absorb the nutrients and the bug control and put it inside the flower bud that will keep the flowers, from getting aphids, keep the stems. It taints the sap. The inside of that rose goes from inside out. It will also eliminate thrip and some other nasty bugs that like fruits, like roses. So rose food with systemic. We've got 2 sizes here at the garden center. We've got one that's works better at this altitude. Come talk to us. We're at Easy Drive.
If you have a bad aphid outbreak and you want to treat it right away.
Oh, sure.
Also using the spinosad soap.
Sure.
Oh, yeah. Excellent product for getting rid of aphids.
Bring a picture. You bring a picture to us so we can help you analyze how bad. If it's just a few aphids, rose food with systemic will do it. Or they're only going to get worse. We're in the peak of the growing season right now for everything, including aphids. And they only get worse as you get into fall. So that spinosad soap is like magic. It's like instantly your problems are all solved. And the long-term solution will be the rose food with the systemic. Use them in conjunction with each other.
Right. All right.
And the best flowers of the year for roses is
Definitely.
the best flowers are in autumn. Everyone, spring gets all the glory because everyone's bored. They haven't seen a flower in 6 months. But really, the biggest showiest. That's why all the county fairs, roses in the fall or late summer, is because of that. The best flowers are then. So you get plenty of time. Go for it.
Oh, definitely. All right. Last question I think we have time for is from Jake. Says he's trying to decide between aspen and birch.
Okay.
Wants to know, is there one preferable than the other, or any other good trees that you can think of that have a more narrow, he likes the bark, the white bark, that kind of stuff.
So Jake, so in the West, we're the southern tips of the Rockies. Aspen is the number 1 seller. In the Midwest, the Midwestern folks like their birch because that's native over there. And so I would say they're both good choices. The narrower of the two would be the aspen. So quaking. Now you got to also say, I'm assuming he's talking shopping here and not just phoning in, but there is a Swiss or European aspen. You don't want that one. So you want the native one, the quaking. So Populus tremuloides, you want that one here because that's our native aspens. It's going to perform better. Exceptional. There's some beautiful specimens in your neighborhood. I guarantee you, you've got aspens there. They adapt to the clay. They just take our wind. They just grow well here. Birch also does really well. Gets a little wider than aspen does. It's not aggressive. It's not bad. It's got more of a weeper. Aspens are kind of upright, grows to the moon. Birch are kind of more weepy, kind of softer, flowy, just feely kind of thing. Some of it comes down to what look do you want, and then if you want to go more native, most of the white trunked trees in your neighborhood here are quaking aspens. You've got Aspen Creek right there, just outside of town. You got aspens kind of up in Williams. They're famous. And so if you want that, you can have that in your own backyard or front yard or whatever. We just planted 5 of them. We donated them to, who was that? Lions Club. They were helping with some new teacher housing up near Taylor's Hicks. We put 1 quaking aspen in front of every single, we just donated some trees to every single unit. So it'd make it beautiful. We want our teachers, we want what's best for our teachers. That's all we got
Mhm.
for this segment.
Hi, Watters with the plants of the week and our gold flame honeysuckle.
Wonderfully fragrant. These blooms are in full color right now and will stay that way until the first frost of October.
These pink and gold blooms are irresistible to hummingbirds and butterflies alike.
Excellent as a quick ground cover, but robust enough to climb vertical
Watters
structures
Garden
and
Center,
fences.
1815 Iron Springs Road in Prescott, where people who love blooming vines, they love to shop. For a more fruitful garden, increase success in the landscape that just feels better, then tune in daily to the Mountain Gardener podcast. Subscribe through your favorite podcast streamer or visit wattersgardencenter.com. Better yet, visit me directly right here at Watters Garden Center. Thanks for tuning in.